I always forget just how stressful it is before going live. Oh, and I'm totally not ready. So yeah, welcome. Thank you guys for joining. We're going to be doing a get ready with me and Q&A. I always feel like just doing a get ready with me is not exciting enough for a live, but I feel like the last live I did was just like talking and hanging out, so I figured I would do a get ready with me while we chatted. So I've been getting a lot of requests kind of in my last videos, and I guess I would say more on Instagram. Anytime I post something, people are like, what's your eyeshadow and stuff? So yeah, let's get into it. So I'm starting with a bare face. As you saw, I just had some eye patches on. This is also the first time that I'm not using any studio light. I'm not even using natural light because obviously it's behind me. So in front of me is a mirror. So not the most flattering, but this is essentially where I do my makeup daily. So I figured this was going to be, because sometimes like I feel like when I set up to film, it doesn't feel like, I don't feel like I have the right lighting for when I do my makeup. So let's see how this works. So I think one of the biggest things that has changed kind of with my makeup is, well, first of all, after postpartum, my skin has just changed so much. And honestly, even over a year postpartum now, like I still haven't figured out my skin. So still trying to figure it out. I actually have a dermatologist appointment in like a month or so. So looking to see, like, I've been to like facialists and stuff, and they've told me like, this is your skin type, this is what you should be using, but I swear it has completely changed now. And yeah, figured it was time to check on my skin. So starting with the fresh face. So basically what has changed the most is I try to use a little bit less powder on the face, definitely way less product, and kind of under the eyes, as you can see, awful dark circles. It's always been, I think, the absolute worst part about me, or the worst thing about me that just have battled literally my whole life, even before I wore like foundation or wore makeup, period. I remember I asked my mom, like I was like at the drugstore and I was probably like 9, and I remember seeing this thing and it said like dark circle removal, and I like asked my mom like, can I please have this? And she was like, no, it's probably just gonna be like makeup. And I was like, no, it's like, you know, skincare. And anyway, I got it, and of course it was like it looked like a cream or a lotion, but it was colored, so it was essentially a little bit like I think almost like a BB cream. So anyway, longest tangent about my dark circles, but it is the one thing that I feel like I try to combat the most. But I do feel like as I get older, the more I like try to add product, the absolute like worse, cakey, like dry, like wrinkly under my skin. I feel like when I have no makeup on, like the actual texture of my skin, I feel like I look youthful-ish, and then I feel like the second I put on like foundation and concealers, like I feel like I look 10 years older. So wondering if anyone else feels that. But so what I have been just like using that I feel like helps so much more is using, like I said, lighter products. The YSL Touche Éclat, this is actually the what do you call it? Sorry, my dryer is going insane in the other room, and I hope it's not like making the most awful sound. I think this is like the brightening pen, and it's like out, like there's no more product. I'm going to Sephora later today and looking to get some more, but this product, it does not crease, it like looks hydrating, it just looks like youthful skin that's brightening. So far this video, I feel like I've given you nothing because I don't even have this product, but absolutely get it if you have that under eye like circle issue. But in terms of technique, the one thing that I've been doing that I feel like has helped so much is I do face first. I add a ton of color because I realized that I think I was doing way too much concealer for like the rest of my skin. So I put in bronzer, I put on blush, And then I feel like with that contrast, like it makes my dark circles kind of a little more minimized, because then now my cheeks are then darker than my dark circles. And then I'm able to use less concealer and less product. And I used to do here, and this is where I feel like you see more lines. So I've been really just concentrating it here. And because here you don't really have lines or like wrinkles there, I feel like it just looks so much more natural. So that's just to get started. So with bronzer, I feel like I've tried so many different ones. I fall in and out of love with this Tom Ford one. It has like the highlighter, and I feel like I like the formula. I don't think, what are the brightening pens? It's the YSL Two Sheet Clot. They have like the whole line of like foundation, concealers, but there's the concealer pen and then the brightening pen. This is the brightening one, but because I love that one so much, I'm gonna be getting both. But in terms of bronzer, I do a creamy one. I did a campaign with CoverGirl years ago, it was like a Halloween video actually. And they sent me this, and I've probably bought like 10 of these, and it's kind of silly, but like I hate the packaging. It's absolutely awful. But I feel like in terms of the color, it's so pretty. I feel like it's prettier than any other brand that I've used lately. I do think when I ordered this one online, I think this was the darkest one they have, and I think it might be a little too dark for me, but the color tone is still prettier. No, I know this looks crazy, but I start with the bronzer, and then I go in with foundation if I'm using foundation that day, but then definitely concealer at the end. And I feel like it kind of softens, because normally when you do bronzer at the end, I feel like it can kind of look patchy sometimes. Whoa, in the mirror this looks so much softer than it does on the screen, but we're gonna go with it. And then of course some on the top of the forehead. And I used to do bronzing or like contouring a lot more to like enhance the shape of my face, whereas recently I feel like I do it really to just bronze up my face, like where the sun would naturally hit it, for the color aspect of it, basically. Okay. Then if I do want to be a little fancier and do a little bit of contour, I go in with the Fenty in the color Amber. You guys actually recommended this. I asked months ago, like for a very cool kind of neutrally color, and this is great, but it is very ashy. Like it can easily make you look really muddy if you were to use it, I guess, as like a bronzer. So I do like this one for a nose contour also, but it's so satisfying to just paint it on like with the actual like product applicator, but I don't like the way it blends out, so I always use a brush. I saw a question, someone asking how's Olive. She's great. I do have to say it was a bit of a transition for her when we brought Amelia home, our baby. Well, she's over 1 now, but yeah, and Olive, our dog, was, you know, the baby for almost 5 years, and, you know, just got so much attention, and like literally our whole like life revolved around Olive. So that part actually has been really hard, to like feel like we're giving Olive like equal amount of attention as she got before, and like the guilt is like really real, because of course you want to, you know, give your dog the same love and attention. But now that Amelia throws a ton of food on the floor, and like just her favorite thing is to give Olive treats, they've like bonded in a new special way. So Olive is a big fan now. I swear, like on camera it looks like my bronzer coming down to here, but I feel like in the mirror it doesn't look that way. So yes, I also saw someone asking how's Amelia. She's great. She's, oh my gosh, I feel like overall such an easy baby, and my mom reminds me of that all the time. And I do think she is, but she's still a baby. Obviously still requires a lot of, you know, attention and care. But she is a really good sleeper overall, which is the one thing I'm like so thankful for. And it's like the one thing I feel like as a parent, I put a lot of emphasis on making her room comfortable and like just kind of going with the flow so that she doesn't, you know, so that she didn't have, I don't know, like separation anxiety when she was transitioned into her room and all of that. So I'm happy to share, I'll kind of like go over it now, but what we did. But honestly, I think it's like so like personal to each child that it, you know, just because it worked for Amelia doesn't mean it'll work for the next baby, and what, you know, has worked for you might not, you know, work for her. But so what we did is we actually co-slept with her for the first 2 months, but she was in a dock-a-tot, so safe, like we can't roll over, and we have a really big bed, I don't know if you can tell, but so the dock-a-tot was placed like between our pillows, but all the way up. So basically her head was higher than ours. So even if we had the covers up, like it would be like nearly impossible to cover her, if that makes sense. We talked about it with our pediatrician and she approved. So before you guys say like, that's so terrible, like why would you do that? I thought that was a big no-no, and Adam was just like, I feel like it's the best way that we can like tend to her, like every time she fusses. And it actually was, I feel like, really easy. So I feel like it was easy on us. And I think that like bonding of her like close to us, and because I was breastfeeding, I know that like the smell is like a very important way they connect, and they like need to sense that you're nearby. So I think that was something that like just at the beginning of her life like really put her at ease. So then I think she was like almost 3 months old. We put her in the bassinet like right next to our bed, so I could like literally while laying down could like touch her. So I still felt like she was that close to me. So there was like no, like that first night that I put her in the bassinet versus our bed, I think like I might have shed a tear and she was like totally fine. I was just like, oh my gosh, like poor thing. And yeah, she was as good as could be. So then we did that, I think for 3 months, and my cousin who has a baby just exactly, this is the new product I'm gonna be using. I've been using this one for a couple of weeks, and it's the Tarte Shape Tape. No, yeah. The Glow On. It's basically a brightening kind of glowy product. So this is really pretty underneath like foundation and stuff. I do a little bit under the eyes just because it is brightening and it's like really hydrating, and I feel like it doesn't crease. So before I go in with any like brightening concealer and stuff, I like to go in with this. Did I say it was hydrating? I think I did. So yeah, I think when she was, oh, I was saying my cousin, and because she has a baby girl that's a year older than Amelia, she can like pass on the wisdom to me. And she had a really tough time transitioning her baby into sleeping in her own bed. And I think it was because she waited a little bit longer, and I think she was like over a year or close to a year old, and she spoke to like a sleep specialist, and they said that the older they get, they're like very aware that, oh, now you're changing me to a different place or like a different room. And so like the earlier you do it, and our pediatrician said, doing it before the baby is like essentially 8 months, 9 months, that's like the best time to do it. And so we did it just a little bit before that. And again, so scary, like to just, I'm just gonna like lay down and my baby's like in a completely different room. It was like really strange, more strange to me again than probably for her. But again, she just eased into that and was completely fine. Okay, this looks like a lot of product, but I promise it was just what you saw with kind of like blending around with the brush. And then I go in Why does it get so much brighter when I get close? But yeah, just I blend it in with a sponge. And because the product is kind of like so dewy, I feel like it blends and kind of like moves around like really nicely. Moves around is probably not the right word, but so yeah, in terms of Amelia, I feel like she is a great sleeper, and she's slept in her own room since she was, I think, 7 months old. So that's been really nice. Occasionally she does have that one night that she just like wakes up and is fussy, and that's normally like when she's teething. So yeah, occasionally we do have those nights. But yesterday, for the first time since she's alive, she did not have a nap. Like, I put her down for her regular nap, or her during the day nap. At the same time, she was fed before, like no routine was different. And she just like fussed, and normally she'll do that sometimes and then like gets herself to sleep. And yeah, we kind of like waited for an hour, and she wasn't like too fussy, but she just wouldn't go to sleep. So eventually I grabbed her, and when I have a day like that she either doesn't nap well, it just means that no part of that day was I like, I don't know, like doing work or doing something that where like my mind is like completely at ease. Because when they're awake, obviously, even though she's in her crib and safe-ish, I know she wasn't happy and she wanted to get out of it. So yeah, yesterday I had all these plans of like I wanted to like start this shoot that I have due next week. I had all these like emails, and I had this like creative project that I was really excited to. It's Friday, like I've done all my other stuff of work that I've had to do for the week, and I was just looking to sit down and really like focus and like be creative, and that in no way happened. So I feel like today I have to do all those like errands and things that I was looking to do yesterday. And I feel like when she doesn't sleep, and then like the mom guilt of like, why is she like this? Like, I wish I knew what to do. And so it just put me in like a really crappy mood yesterday. So yeah, that's how Amelia is. Ask a mom how their kid is, and you're not gonna get a short answer. Someone said, what color is the Turt? It's called a Glow, and I think maybe there's two colors. Maybe there's a more warmer, deeper shade, but it's just kind of a glowy product. I haven't tried it on top of foundation, but I've heard that you can do that too, and that it's really nice. And so that's kind of it for under the eye. Again, in the mirror, it looks a lot more even. On camera, this corner here looks really dark still to me. So instead of, normally I would go in with more concealer and then like powder and set, I'll go in with a, what is this color? Like a color corrector. And I really like this one by Stila. And I like this kind of like peachy shade, and then this like creamy one. As you can see, it's like almost used up. And then with that same kind of concealer brush, and like literally a teeny bit goes a long way. And then this inner corner too. Someone just said, can you tell us all the names of the products and names of the brushes too? I'm considering that I'm like in the middle of a conversation. I probably am gonna forget a lot of stuff. I'll probably, when I'm done here, I'll probably create like a list on Instagram, and you can find it there. If you don't follow me, it's Sylvia X Reese on Instagram. So another thing too is like I've been getting a little bit more into TikTok. What can I think? And so I've been posting a lot more on there, but then the other day I was like in bed and I was like, wait, I don't think I've ever announced like on Instagram or anywhere else. So on Instagram I am just Ellebangs. I'm going to be using a little bit more not more. I'm going to be using Tarte Shape Tape. This is the Ultra Creamy. I got it because the regular one was sold out. I'm not the biggest fan. Definitely don't like it for under the eyes, but for like the rest of the face, it's fine. And it's in the color 27H. It's a little light for me, but again, I'm only using a little bit. And it's only for like areas where I feel like I see kind of shadows or darkness. But yeah, I feel like gone are the days where we would do these crazy triangular concealer bits and then all this like powder and stuff. So yeah, definitely like a more dewy skin finish and just, yeah, less product. And honestly, I feel like if it weren't for my dark under eye circles, I feel like I would literally just do kind of like bronzer and mascara and of course eyebrows. But the second that you do under eye enough to correct, then I feel like you see all these other darkening kind of shadows. Does anybody else agree? I feel like that's like a, could just be my face, but. Okay. And then I like to set with like a setting spray before I go in with mascara, and most days I forget and I do mascara and then I'm like, shoot, I have to like spray my face. Also, I haven't gotten Botox done since I believe April or May of last year, so absolutely no Botox left. I think because of, or I've heard that this is like a big thing, that after you have the COVID vaccine, which is very controversial, but I did get it last year, whatever, that getting like injectables like after you've had the COVID vaccine, that your body just metabolizes the Botox so much faster. And I literally felt like 3 or 4 weeks after I got it, like my skin was just like back to having its like full movement. And then I was just kind of like, screw it. Like, I'm not going to be getting Botox every like 3 weeks. Just as a mom, like the appointment I don't have time for. And yeah, I don't know that I want to be injecting that kind of stuff. I used to do it, I think when I was doing it like the absolute most often was probably 3 times a year. But I do think a little bit preventative isn't bad. But ideally like twice a year I feel like would be nice. But considering how fast it went, and I feel like it's gotten so expensive over the years that I kind of just have stopped. I said that I had dissolved the lip filler that I got maybe, what, 3 years ago? No, it was before 2020, so longer than that. So I do feel like sometimes like I'll hear influencer being like, I like removed all my filler, or I dissolved all my filler. And I feel like it's really hard to dissolve all of it. There's always like little traces. Like I feel like when I look at old pictures or videos, I feel like my lips are still a little bit fuller now than they were before. So clearly there's still a little bit of filler there, but I feel like what you can dissolve, I have. And sometimes I look at my face and I feel like it's maybe disproportionate. I mean, maybe like a fuller lip would be more, I don't know, like in harmony with the rest of my features, because I feel like I have fairly big eyes, kind of a big nose. I feel like it would just make everything kind of more balanced, but I don't know, I used to hate the profile of lip filler. Does that make sense? Okay, for eyeshadow, which was one of the big questions, honestly, I've just been using bronzer. And this is by Laura Mercier, right? Yeah. In Bronze 03, which I actually wish the color was a little bit darker. But yeah, that's kind of all I do. On some days, if I'm like looking to be a little bit fancier, or sometimes I like to step away and I feel like my face lacks warmth, I'll go in with a little bit of the blush that I've used for that day and do a little bit, just kind of here, not necessarily here, because here we want to create like shadow, like going outwards. So that's why I use bronzer for that. But yeah, just a little bit of your blush. It kind of just makes your face look really in harmony because though like your cheeks and your eyes now match. So just a little bit kind of on the rounder part of your eyelid. I feel like it makes a little bit of a difference instead of just having kind of brown. But it's also a great thing for like when you're packing because obviously you need less palettes and kind of less product. Okay. All right, and then for the lips, sometimes I contour under the lip and I feel like that has like a kind of a cute lifting effect. I wonder how it'll translate on camera, but so just kind of. So at first I think it just kind of makes your lips look smaller, but I think once you finish the lip, it gives it a little bit powderier kind of look. So for lips, I'm going in with the NYX Lingerie Push Up. So this is a lipstick, but it looks like a thick lip liner. And it's in the color Corset, I believe. Yeah. And I kind of just outline the lip. Hold on, Adam. Trying to go in.
Why are you locked the door?
I'm doing a live.
Oh.
Way to ruin it. She's sleeping? I just heard her.
Well, she went straight to sleep.
Did she get milk?
Of course.
Did you change your diaper?
No, because I didn't want to upset the sleepiness.
Oh, is she tired?
She was like, right away.
Okay. But did she have a clean diaper at least?
It didn't smell.
Okay. Dad parenting is my favorite.
What are you supposed to do? I need my shoes. Live where?
What?
Live where?
You might as well say, you should say hi now.
Live on which one?
YouTube?
Oh.
Do you want to say hi? What are you hiding?
Where are my shoes? Oh. Am I part of the live while I'm sitting here?
Putting on your shoes? Are you going somewhere?
I'm going to try and Operation Dog Park.
Wait, but then I need to go...
Yeah, I'm going to be right here.
Oh, just to the dog park here?
Right. Well, I'm going to attempt to see if I can create a door into the dog park.
Oh, that dog park, okay. Have fun, Olive. Do you want to say hello? It's the UPS man with this forever hat that I hate.
Where are the comment section? You can't see comments.
I hid them. No, they're right here.
Oh, well, they should always be there, shouldn't they? Well, you can't do it live and not have the comments on. Then, I mean...
They come on, but then after they've been on... Oh my gosh, you guys, he's the most annoying person.
Well, you gotta listen to the people and be like, hey, you wanted to use green
you guys,
mascara.
He's never once done a...
No, but what's the point of commenting?
You don't think...
Can't read the comments.
You don't think I've been answering the comments?
I don't know. All right, I'm gonna go dig a hole.
Okay. The person that's never done a live is teaching me how to do it. But I do want to, I think I did miss the last couple of comments while he was in here. Someone said, you look great now, don't hate to see fillers, then see pictures of children with their parents, but the parent no longer has the same features because of fillers and other work done. I agree. This is something actually that I've, the older I get, like this is something I think about, like specific features, you know, that are tied to your like ethnicity and your culture and just like your family line. I do feel like I have a more appreciation for things on myself that my younger self maybe didn't like. I wanted a, whoa, the coloring is so different. I wanted a nose job so bad when I was like, maybe like high school. Lipstick I'm wearing Charlotte Tilbury and Kim KW. It's way too light for me if I use it alone, but I like it. I'm gonna use a lip liner. But yeah, I used to want a nose job, and like honestly what scared me was like the fact that it was something like on your face, and just kind of scary. And if any of you are like similar in age to me, do you remember that show on like MTV that was like, what was it called? I think I Want a Famous Face, and it would be like they would go through all of this plastic surgery and then they would like look like a celebrity. It's like so toxic. It's so awful. But yes, that is what I grew up on. And I remember like they kind of glamorized like plastic surgery and stuff, but I think actually watching that show, I think sometimes seeing I don't know, like not like what they were starting with, but like it made me kind of like realize like maybe what I'm trying to like fix isn't like that big of a deal. And then like I couldn't imagine like being my older self and like wondering what my nose had like grown into. So I think if you're in your like mid 20s to late 20s and it's still something you want, then like by all means you should get it done. But I think it's the like doing it before your like features have really settled into your face. Does that make sense? So yeah, never got it done. And then I remember when I started YouTube, not when I started, but like after being on YouTube for a few years, I remember like I went through a stage where like everyone was asking me like, or not asking me, but like accusing me of getting a nose job. And I actually remember thinking like, what a freaking compliment, because I obviously hadn't. But also I feel like now in my 30s, like I'm so glad I didn't do it. And obviously like I don't think like my nose is perfect, but I do think it suits my face. And again, back to the conversation, I think it like it's kind of like a mix of like my mom's nose and my dad's nose, obviously my parents, but my dad has like a really Clint Eastwood small like I don't know, like Nicole Kidman nose. I think my dad has, and my mom has like a bigger nose, but my dad and his family all have like a kind of like button or kind of like pointed up nose, and I feel like I've always had that, and I feel like that's something that through the years I've like come to appreciate more. And especially like when I went back when I was 15, and then again in like my early 20s, and I hung out with my aunts on my dad's side, which I feel like I probably look more like, and like to see these like features like, oh, I have that, and this is where I get it. Like I don't know, there's something kind of interesting about that. So yeah, only appreciation here. Okay, so I think do some mascara. I feel like my cheeks, well, on camera I feel like I'm so much more bronzed than I look in real life, but I feel like in the mirror I feel like I lack a little bit of color on the cheeks, but I'm not going to do any more. And then just to highlight the cheeks, I went for the longest time, like I just stopped using highlighter because I think a Gen Z person said that like highlighter was out. But then like in attempts to just like make my skin look more dewy, one day I just did a little bit, and I do really like that. But I kind of just do it on the whole like top section. I feel like the trend in like, I don't know, like 2016 was like this one beam of light right here. And I kind of just like spread it out, so it kind of just looks like a soft glow from within, and not like I have a beaming highlighter on. The coloring is very not right here. I'm wondering if I move you like if I face the window if you would get a more accurate color. All right, and for mascara, I've been loving this. L'Oreal Telescopic Lift. I feel like I've heard ads for it all the time. I was actually sent this, and I'm like not new to like loving drugstore mascaras. I've always said I actually think they're kind of better. I feel like I've curled my lashes 100 times in this video, but I feel like it's important to do it right before applying mascara. But yeah, as soon as I saw the wand, I was like, oh, I'm going to hate that. So it's like flat on like this end, and then has like these really short but like stiff plasticky bristles. It's not like that regular, like a regular mascara wand that's like really fluffy, which normally I gravitate more towards. But because of this like shape where it's like flat, okay, so this is the wide end, and then it's like flat on this side. So it's essentially like a brush on both ends of this, like a comb, sorry, not a brush. But it just makes application so easy, and it gives you so much control of like how much mascara you put on. Does that make sense? Like you can, if I like want a ton of product, you use the flat side and then use the little like comb to comb it out and separate each lash. So it's kind of, it feels more like a tool than like just a mascara wand. Yeah, really like it. And absolutely, when I'm done with this tube, I will repurchase myself. I feel like I'm really out of breath, and I think it's because Adam ordered this really amazing Thai food. It's probably like one of the nicest Thai food restaurants like in the Bay Area, and I love it so much, but we haven't had it in like months. And I think it's like from this really nice place. So Adam assured me, he's like, oh, it doesn't have MSG and blah blah, but I think it absolutely did have MSG in it. And like I don't typically sleep well after eating that, and then I just like the next day I feel like my heart's kind of racy and I'm just like eh. So my face is also a little bit puffier, but yeah, if I sound like I'm out of breath, that's why. And then to finish off the lips, I'm gonna go in with NYX Butter Gloss. I love these lip glosses. I think just like last week I bought an Anastasia Beverly Hills one, and I'm just not a fan. I think I'm not a fan of the formulation, but also just like the color. I don't know, maybe it just doesn't suit me, but I feel like the NYX ones, I have these, I like the size too. They're like little, but I have them like in every bag. I even have one in Amelia's diaper bag because that's kind of what I normally travel with. So we're almost done. And then to bring a little bit of highlight, and again, this is definitely not every day, but I'll go in with that same highlighter palette in this like more bronzy color. I'll just do a little bit on the eyelid, and it just gives an overall just glowy look. Yeah, I need to check on comments, just like Adam said. Okay. Saucin, best to be professional in my opinion. Maybe that's someone's answering a question. Oh, someone else. Help, how to lighten chocolate color box dye. Oh, and then Crystal's saying, best to see a professional in my opinion. To do it, so you can go to any beauty school. All students work under a teacher. That's actually a really good piece of advice if you're looking to correct something, change something. Going to a beauty school, like they're always obviously, there's always an instructor there, so it's not like a student is just applying, you know, a formula that they think is going to work. So it's mainly like the application that the student is like practicing essentially. So that is a really good piece of information. Someone just said I can't do MSG. Ugh, the worst. It really is. And I like Adam has like a stomach of absolute freaking steel. He can like, I swear, eat garbage off the floor and he'd be fine. And he'd be like, this is delicious. But I'm just like so sensitive to everything, and it's actually kind of annoying. I wish I wasn't, but I do feel like definitely makes me cleaner. Sorry, I'm going in with, only because I'm like actually have time to get ready today, but I'm using Pillow Talk by Charlotte Tilbury. And sometimes if I feel like the outer edge looks too brown, just add a little bit of warmth back in. But yeah, I hate being so sensitive, but I feel like living with it long enough, like now in my 30s, I think I'm just more, one, probably smarter about it, but like I feel like in my 20s I just really suffered because it's like, oh, I can like drink like crazy and then like the next day like not hydrate, just go out for brunch and like have 2 cups of coffee, and like I was just like doing terrible things to my body, and like it's like, well, everybody else is doing it. Like I thought in my mind that I needed to like build a tolerance and then I would feel better. And then, as you guys know, well, I don't know if you know, but in 2014, like I had adrenal fatigue, my hormones were off balance. And yeah, it was just like, I felt like my health was just like the worst like it had ever been. And I just remember thinking like, holy crap, like I'm in my mid-20s, like how do I feel like this? If I feel like this now, like how will I feel like, I don't know, when I'm 50 or 60? And I do think that now in my 30s, I feel so much healthier than I ever did like in my 20s. So it's really just about listening to your body. And I feel like even like during the week, I feel like we eat so clean. And not like we eat, I personally, like I love olive oil, like my salads and avocado, and it's not like, oh, we eat like restricted. But Adam typically grills at least 3 times a week. So we have like a lot of like fish and chicken. And then I always like make a salad. If you follow me on Instagram, you know my obsession with this salad book. It's called Salad Freak. I will leave, I've shared the link on Instagram too, but it is like an amazing book. If you're looking to eat more salads and you never know what salads to make, or you always make the same boring salad, get this book. It like literally even has like a playlist of like what you should listen to while making these salads, so you're like more inspired. I can go on and on about this book. I promise I'm not sponsored. I don't know the author. It was just a book I kept seeing at one of our local like garden stores here in the Bay Area, and then I finally ordered it, and it's just I don't know, I feel like it's also like been really good for us because like we eat more salads, but like it also like gives you like an ingredient list, like what to like staples to always have at home to like build good salads. And I feel like ideally, like I used to only ever have like arugula, sometimes tomatoes if they were in season, and like shaved pecorino, and then like some nuts. And that was like the one thing that I just always had in the house to like build a salad, but that's like not exciting. So, and it also tells you about like which vegetables last the longest. So there'd be vegetables that like radicchio is one of them that I like really love the taste of, but I used to think like I only need a little bit per salad, so I'm not gonna like get this every time I go to the grocery store. Well, I realized like they last for like 3 weeks because it's like a cabbage almost. So, what's the book called? It's called Salad Freak, and that's literally what I've become. Someone just said salad bowl. No, it's salad book. So it's a recipe book just about salads. And it's like, it's just really well curated. It's got, goes in order of season. Cause at first I was like, wait, how would they, you know, like, is it just recipe after recipe? But like it is, categorized by season, which is genius because you can just be like, what's in season right now? Okay, look at spring. And like, so like peas, mint is like a big thing right now. We have some mint in the garden, and it's so amazing that like you pick a few leaves and, you know, like a week later, it's like sprung again and you've got like all these new mint leaves. I don't know. Weird things to be really excited about as an adult, I know. But yeah, love this book. And if you're into salads, absolutely get it. I think you will love it too. But what I was saying is like during the week, we'll have like a clean protein and then a really yummy salad. And like that's what we eat basically every day for dinner. And I feel like now every time we either like go out for dinner or like, you know, hang out with friends, and not that like they don't use clean ingredients, but of course like when you are entertaining, you kind of like have more like fun foods, I guess, you know. And I feel like every time that we eat out or eat at like friend's house, I just get like a horrible like stomach, or like I feel crappy that night. And it's just like, gosh, like I really like, I think the cleaner I eat, the more sensitive I get. But I still think, I know it's better for me. So I'm going to continue to eat as clean as possible, because it is amazing how you feel when you do eat well. Christina G says, I'm 58 and I feel more energetic and healthier now than in my 30s. I love hearing stuff like that. It's so inspiring. And it's so incredible how the body can heal and evolve and like actually be better years later. Like that always fascinates me. Yeah, let's see. Someone just said, oh my gosh, I love your channel. Thank you. Okay, well, do we have beauty schools? And oh, okay. Good, you know your body. I'm glad you're listening to it. Yeah, and I actually feel like through like this winter and stuff, I think with eating kind of more salads, and I've been really following how to eat for hormone health. I just feel like after pregnancy, I feel like your hormones kind of are all over the place, and I feel like in order to like reset them, I think you have to do different things than you were used to. So I've been really like trying to pay attention to that. And I actually follow someone who like talks about how you can kind of just regulate your hormones like with food and stuff. And like carrot salad is something like if you're trying to regulate your hormones, like raw carrots specifically. So not roasted, not in soups, like raw carrots every single day. So I'll sometimes just like shave them and like do a little bit of apple cider vinegar, a little bit of salt, and like just eat that, especially afternoon, like when your cortisol typically gets a little bit higher, and then like that messes with your hormones. So it's normally around that afternoon slump when you feel like you need another coffee. That's kind of when you should do it. And I did that for probably a good month. And I still do it, but like not as often, but it like, I feel like it really has helped. I think with my like blood sugar, like I don't have those like crazy crashes and then like feeling like faint and kind of like weak and like just low blood sugar. So yeah, I don't weigh myself all the time. I just feel like it's really easy to get into this like negative cycle. And when Amelia turned 1, I was still about, I think 8 or 9 pounds away from my pre-baby weight. And I weighed myself last week and I finally lost the baby weight. Amelia turned 1 in November. So what is that, 5 months ago? Eating more hormone consciously, I feel like is how I did it. And I still, I also feel like the other thing maybe I've done is like less carbs and just like less bread, especially at dinner. Like I said, keep it more like protein-ish-y. And I do still love my carbs. I'm not going to just like eat paleo like that. I don't know that I could really ever do that. But I mean, we know like what is good for us, like roasted sweet potato, roasted squash. Like I love that. And that's like a really healthy carb. So just kind of like sticking to that. Okay, that was a really long tangent on what I've been eating, but I do feel like it was so helpful to me that yeah, I felt like I should share. The other thing too that I learned about, because I feel like when your hormones all over the place, it's so much harder to lose weight. And I'm not a dietitian. These are just obviously things that I've learned along the way and have implemented, and they have helped me. But they say that anytime that you lose weight, even if you are overweight and you're looking to lose weight, that is still like a huge kind of burden on your hormones. Your body does not want to lose weight. It like, even if you're overweight, your body still sees losing weight as like something's being taken away, essentially. And so when I learned that made so much more sense. And it's like, if you are either trying to be in a calorie deficit or just, you know, trying to consume less, your body recognizes that, and your hormones and adrenals kind of go into like fight or flight. And so when you are looking to like decrease what you're eating or eating more clean, you do need to kind of take care of your adrenals and all that. So there are supplements that you can take that helps with that. So one thing is like, you cannot diet and not sleep well. Like, you need to sleep more. You just have to. You need to give your body that time to like recover. So that's something I've been way more conscious of this time around. So that's something that I've like tried to just implement, like lower the stress load, try to rest as much as you can. And when you are like eating clean, or like I said, eating less carbs or whatever, you can't just like do it for like 6 months or super long until you like reach your goal. You do it for like 2 months and then you take a month off. You do it for 2 months and then take a month off. And so that takes that like stress load off of your like adrenals, and then you're able to actually kind of more effectively drop the weight because you're not shocking your body. So those are like huge things that I learned in the last like 6 months. So if that's something you're kind of struggling with, because for me, the fact that I am hypoglycemic and I get low blood sugar, so sometimes when I get low blood sugar and I feel like awful, I'll have to eat even though I'm not hungry, and that obviously is awful when you're like trying to lose weight or like get back to a specific weight. So that's been really huge for me. Okay, sending so much love from LA. Thank you. You know, I feel like I had girlies from all over the world today. So awesome. I am gonna bring you, like I said, over here so that you can see hopefully a more, I don't know, bright kind of look. This is actually really harsh lighting. Adam would be like, this is awful. I feel like you see texture a lot more, but I guess this is more realistic. So yeah, here is the final result. And since we are here, kind of just wanted to give you a little update on work stuff and fun things that we have in the works. So I did mention in a video, I believe like a month or two ago, that I am officially starting a product line, and a product that like is just so true to me, and it really feels like it's like my love letter to my subscribers. And we've had our first official like production meeting, which the fact that these words are coming out of my mouth is still crazy. If you have missed it, I did a whole video on, if you've followed me for a long time, you know that years ago I was working on a product line and then stopped, and I kind of never gave you an explanation. So there's a video where I explain everything, and then I did announce that I am working on something fun and special for you guys. And I feel like even the name, everything, it just like, it feels right, and it feels like, of course I had to wait this long, and of course this is the product. So super, super excited as we get more into really nailing down like a formula and everything. I do want to include you guys. So following me on Instagram is the easiest way to for you to kind of like chime in, because it's like more in real time. Like sometimes if I want to ask, do you prefer this in packaging versus this? And because obviously aesthetic is super important. And for me personally, I feel like a product that is more beautiful, obviously the formula needs to be great, but I will be more in tune to have it out and actually use it more often. So aesthetic is really important, but equally as important is function. And I want it to feel comfortable, and I want it to be something that is something that you enjoy using, obviously. So yeah, I'm happy to bring you guys along, and I would love for each and every one of you to like kind of have a say in it. And I feel like when the product is out, I think it'd be so nice for you to feel like I voted on this color, or you know, stuff like that. So yeah, really, really exciting. And it's funny because like even the name for the brand and the product was something else. It was actually like a name that was essentially made up. It was like letters that are really special to me put together to create this name. And it was funny because the name of the product had been written on a piece of paper for like weeks. And then one day I was like, wait, that's the brand, not the name that I made up. And as I get a little bit closer, like the more I'm able to share, of course I will. And like I said, I can't wait to have you just more involved. So yeah, we're all done. As you can see, no powder at all. And although I will probably get some creasing kind of around the eyes, which is kind of inevitable, I feel like I'll get the same amount of creasing when I do powder, and it always ends up looking worse. So yeah, that's my hot tip, is eat your damn carrots raw and use less powder. I mean, unless you're like 19, then go drink and use all the powder you want. But I'm kidding. Someone just said home color, like Shades EQ. I think that means like an at-home, or like a toner that mimics Shades EQ, or that's similar but available to the public. And honestly, I feel like there's nothing that really compares to Shades EQ, so that's like a really hard one. And if you're here and you don't know, I do offer virtual consultations. I'm back to doing those again. When I had my baby, I took, I would say, a good 4 or 5 months of like not doing them. I'm only doing them once a week now, and that's Tuesdays. And yeah, I've been loving getting back into that. And I love connecting with you guys. But basically it's a 20-minute consultation where you tell me kind of about your hair, and you know, I help you achieve results at home. Whether, or not necessarily, like some clients are like, I'm still going to a salon, like I want a second opinion. What should I say to like get XYZ? Is it even possible for me to get this color? So I get a lot of that. And then some clients are just like, I don't have time to go to a salon. Like I've been using box color. I just want to use something a little bit nicer. How can I do my hair at home? So yeah, virtual consults with me are, to book, you go to consultations at ellebangs.com, and my booking person can help you there. So we can meet, and it's like a really nice way, obviously, to connect with you guys. So, so yeah, I think I can like see Adam, and he's like on a 12-foot ladder trying to trim a tree. Yeah, so should probably go check. But yeah, I thought I would do this for half an hour, and here we are an hour later. But this was so much fun. I love spending my weekend with you guys. Thank you to everyone who joined. I love you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.